I think on the other side, there are AIs that make super doctors. So at least that's how I see it. So like doctors that now can track 1 million patients at once. Like there is no doctor that can do this. I think maybe there is someone, but it's hard. So a doctor together with an AI can track 1 million patients, because that AI can rank those patients, predict risks, try to find any anomalies, anything that is not right, anything that can alert the doctor about a problem, and then the doctor can jump in when it's needed.
Okay, so like live risk stratification and monitoring through patient observations and notes, essentially, right?
Yeah, I would say something like that. And of course, I mean, there is more there. AI that can detect problems from X-ray images or something that can... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so I read a similar paper, actually. They called it kind of superhuman performance. It's where they got a group of radiologists, and I think they presented them with a number of CT scans, like scans of the chest, to look for things like cancer or pneumonia, chest infections, and other things. I think there's over 10 pathologies they were looking for. And what they found was, each out of the 10 radiologists or something, there was obviously variation between the more experienced one and the less experienced ones. But then what they did is they combined the radiology with an AI, like a convolutional neural network, like a image AI, to basically detect abnormalities in the CT scan. And they found that basically everyone, even the lowest performing radiologist, had boosted up their level to the highest one. So everyone was basically, AI assisted cyborg / super doctor. So even the most inexperienced became as good as, if not better than, the most experienced without AI.
That is awesome. And what I also think is that what will happen is that we will have AI being able to detect things that a human cannot. So like I remember one study from, I think it was 2017, where they have looked at retina scans, and an AI was able to tell the sex of the person just based off of a retina scan. And I think even today we still don't know how, or no, I don't think there is a difference between a male and a female retina.
No, not to the human eye. Like it's, and there's a lot of papers, and I think that was a Google paper, right? I think there's a lot of these papers, deep learning in various images, finding links in images that we cannot see from our human eyes, but there is clearly some difference where you can figure out the gender, or I think even age, and different things like that was correlated.
Yes, it was also cardiovascular risk, I think, from retina scans.
Yeah. But it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, and I mean, it might seem silly that now we can tell gender from now we can tell sex from a retina scan. It might seem silly, but what this shows is that AI can see patterns that are maybe not visible to a human. And when there is a lot of data, then AI can extract those patterns. AI can somehow understand that, and maybe by that find like new biomarkers for diseases
absolutely, or new risk factors. Last episode in the large language model episode, we talked about risk stratification, and for things like atrial fibrillation and the risk of stroke. These studies were done decades ago, and the researchers self-selected the comorbidities that they thought was relevant to a risk of stroke. And then as time progresses, you see these scores change all the time, like CHADS-VAS score, Q-RISK score changes every few years because they realize, okay, oops, I didn't include this risk factor in the first analysis. Oh, okay, now let's add this on. Okay, now there's 4 more letters to the score. It happens all the time. So definitely machine learning would be really useful to tease out these risk factors.
Yeah, and this then basically makes the two areas, so having more efficient doctors and on the other side having super doctors. So I think either one, I think of course it's much easier to start with the more efficient doctors. It is a much simpler approach, but I do think over time AI will be necessary in healthcare. Like it will be required, it will be a must. I don't think it will be possible. In fact, I do think this for every field. I think like AI is the future, and the same way like today it is hard to imagine a workplace that doesn't have a computer. I think the same will be, or that's not using, I don't know, some software. The same way it will be hard to imagine a field that's in some way not using, interacting with AI.